What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a video I ran across, right? This is old video, and I'm gonna play the audio from it. But Isaiah Thomas was on the Arsenio Hall show, and I think the Arsenio Hall show was probably on like in the 90s, in mid to early to mid 90s. The Arsenio Hall show was on, and Isaiah Thomas was speaking on Michael Jordan, right? And so I want to speak on it because now you have Isaiah Thomas. At one point in time, Isaiah Thomas was saying that Mike was the best, even over Magic Johnson. Now lately, Isaiah Thomas have Michael Jordan ranked as like number 8. The last poll I saw is with Isaiah Thomas saying that Michael Jordan is like 8 all time. And so to me, I think it's becoming obvious that Isaiah Thomas is just still holding a grudge from Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan, got Isaiah Thomas like cut out of like that the Olympic team. And so I think Isaiah is still a little salty about that. And every chance Isaiah Thomas now he just really, he tries to drag Mike. But the thing is, in my opinion, it just makes him look like a bitter old dude, because Michael Jordan never really addressed Isaiah Thomas. He always denied not, getting Isaiah Thomas left off of that Olympic team. Michael Jordan always denied that. And Isaiah Thomas don't seem like he buying into it. But I want to play like what Isaiah Thomas said on the Arsenio Hall show about Michael Jordan, and then I'm gonna come back and give my commentary.
Believable in terms of his quickness, his strength, his jumping ability, his touch, and also his knowledge and understanding for the game. He by far, is the best I've ever seen. And Irvin's my boy, but Air, yeah, that's something else. Yeah, he real sweet. Yeah. I mean, the dude, you see what he be doing? Yeah. And it ain't like we in high school.
So okay, so you hear what he said. Like he complimented Michael Jordan's like his knowledge of the game and other his drive and everything, right? So like which one is it? Like is Isaiah Thomas, was Michael Jordan great then? Was he telling the truth about Michael Jordan then, or is he telling the truth about Michael Jordan now? And so that's what, to me, that's why a lot of people question this guy's credibility. He put Michael Jordan ahead of Magic Johnson. Like, and I'm thinking this was Arsenio Hall show. This was like when the Lakers was doing their thing, you know, but everybody, like I said, everybody knew that Mike was that dude. And Isaiah Thomas back then, I think that back then Isaiah Thomas didn't have any choice but to be honest about the situation because like if back then Isaiah Thomas would have said that Michael Jordan was he was not the GOAT or not even the GOAT, like, or he wasn't the best player in the league at that time, he would have just got so much pushback, right? And he would have lost so much credibility that, and I think nowadays though, like people can get away with these outrageous opinions about basketball, and it's not so much really, not so much frowned upon. Like, like now it's just so popular now for people just to disagree for the sake of disagreeing. And then you don't have to have any facts. to back it up. It's just basically because I said so. Like, why do you have Michael Jordan now ranked as the eighth greatest basketball player of all time when back then on the Arsenio Hall show, he said it was Michael Jordan and it was all about Michael Jordan. So where did those other seven ball players come? If you got Michael Jordan now ranked number eight, like what did they come after Michael Jordan? Which no, they different because they didn't, because a lot of those guys, only guy that came really after Michael Jordan was Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and those guys are on the list too, on Isaiah Thomas's list, right? But I just think it's just so obvious when it comes to Isaiah Thomas, like how much he really is like bitter about Michael Jordan. And I just think that like his bitterness really is just not really all that healthy for him. And somebody need to really sit him down and talk to him, tell him just let it go. Just let it go. And he's really, in my opinion, every time he go out and say that Michael Jordan is like the eighth greatest basketball player, I just think he lose credibility. And when Michael Jordan come back, this fall and with NBC, and he's talking about basketball, and if Isaiah continue this narrative, I just think, like he'll just lose credibility. I'm not thinking, I think this is really going to hurt his hurt his credibility. I think I think that, like you want to be able to give some, like, why do you think Michael Jordan is number 8? You got to have like some facts or something or some stats to break, like people who think that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, they list, they list some facts, they like, all right, well, Mike won 6 championships. Mike is they talk about like how Mike played his defense, like how his defense was. But like when Isaiah Thomas just said, he just said, well, Mike is number 8. That's to me, that's just not good enough. To me, I think that his credibility is just, he's going down in history. I think it's just like like an angry old man. Basically, that's the way I'm starting to see Isaiah. And for somebody like Isaiah who had like the career that he had, you can't really like you can't discount what Isaiah Thomas did when he was in Detroit. And nobody don't, like Isaiah gets credit for that. People don't say, well, they don't make excuses. They honest about like what Isaiah did. People always say that Isaiah, is one of the greatest guards, to ever play in the NBA. So he gets his just due, even from people who are not really Isaiah Thomas fans. I think if you ask Michael Jordan, in my opinion, I think if you ask Michael Jordan, and I think that Michael Jordan made a comment about, I think he put Isaiah Thomas behind Magic Johnson, right? He said Magic is 1, then he puts, I think Isaiah Thomas is number 2 as far as guards. And I can go for that. I would agree with that. Like as far as guards are concerned, you have to have Magic number 1, then you have to have Isaiah 2 as far as the greatest point guards who ever played in the NBA. But Isaiah Thomas for some reason just can't find it in his soul to to give an honest take about Michael Jordan. And not just an honest take, but something even reasonable. 8th all time. I don't know. I don't get it. I think, like I said, that Isaiah Thomas just looked like a angry old man. And he continues to, in my opinion, he just continues to lose to Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan is living in this guy's head rent free. And every time he bring up Michael Jordan name, he's got to try to it's got to be something negative. Like he can't really say anything honest or anything positive about Michael Jordan, you know. And yeah, man, I would hate to be in a position where somebody, you know, somebody is on my mind like that. Um, almost like you need therapy or something like that, you know. Like I think that like when it get to that point where as though you just can't even be like objective and honest about it, you know, and it's obvious that, you know, that what Mike did to him, and I do think that Michael Jordan kept him off that Olympic team. You know, I think he did. And so what Mike did to him just really just hurt his feelings. I mean, it just, you know, I mean, it was like he broke his heart. I think you get up, you know, you would get over a divorce. People have gotten over divorces, you know, better than Isaiah Thomas has handled the situation. Um, yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And also don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.